everyone, and welcome back to
Fika for Life!
My name is Edward Thomas, and my co-host is...
Lynn and hello!
Hey, Lynn, how are you?
I am super good. Yes. just block out all the cray stuff. I'm fine.
Today is going to be one of those really cray episodes.
Yeah, but it's a new format. Maybe we will
do it more often, every time. So today, Lynn and I, we've been looking at and analyzing problems that people have in relationships. And we figured that the best way...
we don't have
we're perfect. I know. Like my wife wakes up in the morning. She's like, oh, Ed, I almost worship you because I'm so lucky to have a man like you. You are like... not actually the example of every man. You are the actual form that every man should acquire to. Okay, exactly. Wow. And I know that Eunice, he usually comes in. He's like, please walk on me because you're too holy to walk on the floor. You know, he's just throwing himself in front of you. You know. Wow,
that's really cray.
Only if.
Well, we wanted to talk about misaligned communications and. Yeah. Resulting most of the time in weird expectations.
Exactly.
So I think that the other day I had a discussion with my conflict. I had a discussion with my colleague about a conflict she had with her partner, and somehow she just felt like down or weird or PMS or whatever. And then the guy was like, hey, what's going on? And she's like, nothing. And then the guy was like, are you sure? And then she's like, yeah, nothing. And then at some point she was like, oh, just get away, just go. And it's really weird because she was like expecting him to stay, although she said him to go.
Exactly.
And then he just went, and then she was like really upset because he went, and then he was like, hey honey, why are you upset? And then she was like, well, why did you leave me? And then he was like, well, you told me to leave. Like, exactly. No, but I just said so, but I wanted you to stay.
This is the whole thing. We're supposed to role play. Now Lynn just gave the whole dialogue away.
No, but
you're always being both the man and the woman in the relationship.
No. But the funny thing was, though, that the guy didn't back out the first time she said, no, I'm fine. Because when she said, he just kept asking. And then like for three times. And I'm like, wow, he's a keeper. He gets you.
Or he's a sucker. I'm like, hey, if she said, leave me alone, I'm like, I'm out of there.
No. Yeah.
Well, so that's the whole thing. Like, why would women expect men to do the opposite of what they say? And then when we do that, it's still wrong.
But the thing is, I think many women sometimes have this hormonal thing that they don't even know why they're doing dumb stuff. And the thing is, I talked to my colleague and we realize it's really dumb, but we can't help it.
And for all of you who are single out there, yes, marriage is so worth it. Oh.
Well.
Oops. Okay. So I'll be the guy.
Okay.
You get to be the girl.
What are we discussing about? Okay, let's have this fight for 5 minutes.
Yes.
Because I think
otherwise it'll get real. Yeah. I'll start punching you for real. I'll be like, Lynn, you've never loved me. You don't give me any respect.
Oh, wow. Okay, are we now fighting in a more realistic, bad way? Or should we fight
so I have to get a baseball bat then.
Hey, you are portraying yourself as an abusive husband. I'm not sure if you want to be
self-defense. She's got like knives and swords and everything coming at me. She looks like a ninja. I'm like, just trying to stay alive.
Okay, so what are we fighting about?
Let's see. You're really upset about something, but you don't want to. I guess we'll take like the same scenario. You're really upset about something, and I'm trying to figure out what's wrong because I can see you're upset, but you're not going to tell me that you're upset, of course. Because
this is like a stereotypical conversation in any couple. I think.
Yeah.
That someone don't want to or almost like punishing you for what you did and not talking about it. So you should figure it out.
Okay. So we had been at a party a week before with some friends, and you didn't like a comment that I said, which of course wasn't really directed at you or about you, but you took it personally anyway. Yeah. Okay.
Definitely.
Hey, hon, what's up?
Nothing.
Really? You look like you're kind of upset about something. Did something happen today?
No, I'm fine.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna watch TV, and if you want to talk about it, then I'm available. Just come and get me.
No, there's nothing.
You sure? You sound really I don't know. You sound like really short, and you don't.
I think you should know.
Why? And why should I know? Because I cannot read your mind.
Well, okay. I will give you a tip. Like last week, the party.
Yeah, we were at a party last week to visit with your friends from your job who you said it was really important for us to go and meet.
Yeah, but that's not the thing. I mean, it's the thing what happened on the party.
So we ate and we hung out with people and we laughed at their jokes and we talked about how wonderful you are.
Don't play stupid. You know what I mean.
Okay, why don't you just help me out because I'm getting really frustrated here because I feel like I'm not really understanding what you thought was so bad about a party that when I asked you, I said, how was the evening? You said, oh, it was really fine. Thanks for coming along with me. And I was like, oh.
Well, you can't tell the people what happened. I mean, you said this thing to Sabrina, and I think it was really rude, and I don't know why you would say that in front of everyone. I mean, I felt really embarrassed, and I don't get. Do you want to hurt me? Is it why? Is there something
Wait. Sabrina asked me a question. She said, "Do you still find that you still love your wife just as much, even though she doesn't look as good as she did when you got married?" And I said, "Of course I do. We like to tear it up."
But then it means that you feel like I'm not pretty as on my wedding day, and I think it's really rude, and it hurt my feelings so much, and I don't get it why you would do it in the public.
But you
thing.
don't look like you did on your wedding day. You're older now.
Yeah, but you shouldn't point it out, especially not in front of other people. What's wrong with you?
So you
so
think
embarrassing.
You think that if they saw pictures of you on your wedding day and they look at you now, 15 years later, that they're going to go, oh, look, you look exactly the same. You haven't aged.
Obviously, everyone knows that you probably don't look like that, but you don't point it out. It was so embarrassing. I mean,
but it's like a bottle of wine. I'm like, you're getting better the older you're getting.
That's how you feel. That's not how I feel. You don't know how women are. I mean...
No, I've never been one. That's why you married me.
You don't understand. You're so disrespectful for my
I
feelings.
am not disrespectful of your feelings. I don't understand your... if you call them feelings, I think you're crazy.
It's not about crazy. Oh, now you're attacking me personally. You're so mean. You sleep on the couch tonight.
Fine. I don't want to sleep with you anyway.
Cut.
That was starting to get really real. I'm like, Lynn.
But I'm wondering, like, do men really use that many words that you did? I think you have been counseling too much. Because I think men, do you really feel that men
but that's how
would
fights
say
at
so
home.
much?
That's how fights at home. Annette, she's always like, why can't you just be a normal guy? Just sit there and grunt and just take it. I'm like, what? And not give back? No way.
Well, there are men like you, but
Yeah.
I think also other men, they would, I don't know, they would just withdraw.
A lot of guys would just be there like, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, even though they don't feel that way, because
But
it's
just
easier.
to make it go away.
Yeah, like it's easier to not engage.
Yeah.
And if you don't engage, even though she's going to get upset, she's got nothing against you. But when I talk like I do, what happens is that's just more fuel for the fire. I get beat with so many sticks. And you said this, and you said that.
But it was really hard, because it's like I had no grudge. So what was I supposed to say? Like, yeah, it's
I don't
stupid.
know.
I wouldn't even take this stuff personally. So I'm like, okay, how would I
I
act
saw
if
the
I would
anger
take it,
coming
like,
from your eyes. I was feeling uncomfortable. I was like sweating already. It's not just because it's hot here today.
Okay, so would you say our role play is that something that would happen in relationships?
Yeah, so it's two people are at the same event.
Yeah.
But the way they process that event is so different. So you were feeling like
Personal attack.
Yeah, I mean it's like so Sabrina asked a question and then I was thinking like, oh, I want to turn this into something really positive.
Yeah.
And so the guy means that he did something positive. The woman experienced it as something negative.
Yeah.
And that becomes a really hard conversation to have because two people have an emotional attachment to the same event that's so totally dynamically different. And so in order to help them to understand, what should have happened is that when the guy comes home, he says something's wrong, or say how are you, and you're like, no, nothing. And then what happens at that point? The couple has to have another tool that helps them to be able to understand how the other person feels.
It's just talking, though, isn't it? Like,
nah, you have to so if you feel
draw it, dance it.
If you feel that the person's not understanding you, it's probably because they're not using your words to communicate back with you, and that's why mirroring is so effective. because you're just repeating back. Like I should have said.
I know you did with our pre-marriage counseling with Jonas and me. It was so annoying.
Everyone thinks it's annoying, but it is really effective because what it does, it prevents you from fighting.
It prevents you from saying.
No, it doesn't.
No, it prevents you from saying what you feel.
No, it
just mirror like, okay, so this is how you feel because you said you are sad. So you're saying you're sad.
Yeah, but then you're supposed to take turns. So each person speaks and the other person mirrors, and as you do that,
so
I know.
Should we do a little conversation for our listeners?
Yeah. So this is where one of those effective relationship tools, and it's called mirroring like a mirror. And what you're doing is that you're trying to reflect the other person's words and feelings back to them, which shows that you're listening and that you're caring.
But you actually don't. You just repeat what you
first. You do care.
Oh, yeah. So you want to fool your partner?
Now we're going to have a real fight. Wow. You want to pretend like you're listening. Okay, let's start again. Hey, honey.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Not so okay.
Oh, what happened? Why don't you tell me about it?
Well, this is one thing that bothers me. You know the party last week?
Oh, the one we went to when we met your friend Sabrina.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you said this thing about how you still like me, although I don't look like on our wedding day. And I don't know, I feel really uncomfortable. I felt a bit embarrassed, and I really wished you would not have said that.
Okay, so you felt like when I answered Sabrina's question, you felt like the way I answered it made you feel like I didn't love you as much or that you're not as pretty, and you felt really embarrassed by it.
Yeah, I really did. And it really hurt me, so I wished you would have... I don't know what you could have said, but I was really sad.
Nothing, probably. Exactly. So you felt that you had wished that I had answered that question differently than the way I did, but you're not really sure what I could have said that would have made you feel better with that answer.
Yeah. So how did you feel about that situation?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like when Sabrina asked me, first I was like, oi, I had to think about it. And then I just answered how I felt. So I felt like, of course I love you. And I acknowledge that we're not the same. That would be an unrealistic expectation. And so I just wanted to let her know, let you know how much I appreciate you, and how much I love you, and how much I still am in love with you since the day we first met.
So you're saying that in the beginning you felt like it was difficult to answer, but you had good intentions, and you wanted to, say it the way you felt. Yeah.
And so I didn't mean to hurt you, because I would never want to do anything that would like hurt you or would embarrass you publicly or put you in any kind of negative light, because I really want to be your cheerleader in life.
Oh, so you're saying that your intentions were not bad, and you really didn't want to you hurt me in any way, and you want to support me throughout life. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh! So nice.
So I'm really sorry if you felt really hurt. I mean, but it wasn't on purpose, right?
Yes.
Let's go have sex.
Thanks. Oh my gosh. Is that how every fight in your home ends?
I wish.
Like bonobo apes or bonobo monkeys.
Yeah, exactly.
How they solve conflicts just having sex. And then
I don't like you, let's have sex. I like you, let's have sex. I'm like, wow, what a weird monkey, Like little crazy chimpanzees all over each other.
Wow.
But anyway, that's a way how mirroring can help to diffuse, like, because you're constantly acknowledging what the other person says and feels. You're not attacking the person. You're not making a lot of like different facial expressions to show that you're just
you're saying this and this.
I know what you really mean, because what you really meant is that you like Sabrina more than me.
Whoa. Okay. That escalated fast.
Like, no, I think Sabrina's a cow. Is that how you're going to think about me? When you, like, why is it always about you?
How did we get here?
Yeah, so sometimes in like these tools do, because it's an artificial way that we talk, but it does keep people from adding fuel to the fire. Because if you don't add fuel to the fire, it just burns out, and then you feel stupid trying to start a fight when there's nothing to fight about.
But how do you then solve this? I mean, now this conflict was about like miscommunication.
Yeah.
So one thing happened, both people felt different about it.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, those things will continue to happen if you don't solve the communication issue in the bottom.
But it's not really a communication issue. So partially it is. But since we use different words and different amount of words, and we use them from our both background, education, and experience, then what happens is that we have to learn how to put your partner in a better light. So if I believe that you're always there for me, and everything you do is whether you succeed or not is not where the issue is at. It's just that I believe,
intention.
Like you always have a good intention. You're always trying to support me. You're always trying to build me up. You're always trying to be my cheerleader and to help me and to support me. That means that then when you do wrong things, what happens is I get to change the color of the light. I might feel
perspective.
I might feel like the glass was half empty, but all of a sudden, because I put you in the better light, the glass becomes half full.
Yeah.
And so if that changes my perspective, what happens is I'm not going to hold a grudge against you, and that makes it easier then for the communication part. To say, hey, I did feel like this. I know that you didn't mean it, but I did feel this way when you talked to Sabrina. And then we can say, well, this is what I was thinking. What would have made you? So I have to be willing to accept, to hear your words, and then try to put that into my words. So if I would say, okay, well, Len, what would you have liked to have heard when I answered that question to Sabrina?
But I told you, I don't know. But what you said wasn't good.
Stop being so stupid. No.
But I mean, those
because it's hard.
I think the mirroring thing I also do with other people, actually, especially when it's like things that are overwhelming me, like people grieving, people experiencing loss, like those things are really hard for me because you can't really say something that acknowledges their sorrow or pain. Like there's nothing you can say. You can say, "Oh, my condolences." Oh, but then usually I go to this, like when they're saying, "Oh, it's really hard and it's so painful." I'm like, I'm mirroring. Yeah, it must be really painful. It must be really hard because I don't know what to say. Like what am I supposed? Like I don't want to be a fool and say stupid things that make them even cry. So I'm like,
Yeah,
I think you can use those things in regular like relationship as well with your friends as well.
It's a good way to talk to small kids. So when your kids do things, and because kids can't really understand all the consequences of their actions.
Oh no!
And then you say, okay, listen, mommy or daddy's like really upset with you. Do you know why? No, I don't know why. Okay, well, remember what we talked about, that you shouldn't take the cookies and eat them before lunch. You're like, oh yeah, I remember. Why did you do that? I couldn't help it. The cookie talked to me. Okay, well, what did the cookie say to you? The cookie said, eat me right now. Otherwise, you won't get any wishes. I'm like, okay.
It makes no sense at all.
Doesn't have to make sense. You just have to communicate, And so, but I think like with things, so it really helps when you have two people that are unable to understand each other, and they're just kind of in a locked position. But then there's another thing also in relationships like that, if you want to be a better communicator, and that's at some point people have to say how they really feel about things. That means you have to go inside. You have to be in contact.
You have to understand yourself.
Yeah,
you have to know yourself.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it's really hard for the other person to figure out what you want and how to make you happy, and
that's an unrealistic expectation that your partner
supposed to
will know more about you and how you feel than what you know or feel about yourself.
But I think that's a cultural thing, though.
Really?
Also, that people are like, yeah, he or she's my best friend, or my parents, they know me. They know me best. Like everyone knows me best. They know me best, and I'm like, but you are supposed to be the one who knows you best because you know all your thoughts. No one knows all your thoughts.
Well, I know all your thoughts. That's because you have the same thought every day, though. Just,
What's that? Huh?
Kill Edward.
As if my universe would circle around you, Ed. I'm sorry.
You always think of ways to get rid of it.
No.
It's personal. I feel that right now after our big fight. No. No, but I think that's that unrealistic expectation that people have, that someone else knows me better, that someone else can fulfill me, someone else can make me whole, someone can make my life better. No person can make your life better. They can add to your life.
They usually make your life worse.
Yeah, and that's why people keep getting married, because they're like, I just want to suffer more. God, look at my suffering.
Well, what about people who have, let's say, you have this insight, but your partner doesn't?
Wow,
Now
that's
we go
hard.
to this single or one-sided responsibility.
Yeah, and that's really hard because you can't, like in a relationship, even though you're like one, you're like a unit, you still can't take responsibility for your partner.
For the other person.
Yeah, so I mean, you have responsibility in the sense of concern and care. Like you don't only make food for your partner while they're sitting there starving at the table and just sort of wasting away. You're like, this steak is really good. I wish you had something to eat, but I love you. You know, that just doesn't work. You know, that's usually, that's a sign that the relationship is heading towards the end.
Bad place.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's a limit to how much you can take responsibility for what other people should do. So like,
I have an example.
Okay, good.
For example, we were talking about moving to Germany, and then people were like, "Oh, okay," but and I'm saying, "Well, I'm working on this degree to be able to work in Germany, you know." And people are like, "So what about Jonas?" And I'm like, "Well, he got it figured out because I told him like for a couple of years, and I told him, you know, this is what you can do to get prepared." And then I'm like, "Well, I got to work on my thing, and he got to work on his thing." So I don't know. People usually are quiet after that, but it's weird when they ask me because I feel like, well, that's his responsibility. He has to figure it out. This is his, because he agreed he will go with us. Then you got to do your part.
That's interesting. Wow, that would be really good to have the two of you together right now. You know, because I mean, but sometimes I think that people agree to things and don't really think it through.
Well, but that's not my problem.
No, but that's not. But it will be your problem if he gets to Germany. So everyone speaks German here. I didn't know I need to learn German.
Well, then you got to realize, no, he knows that. He's not stupid. Don't tell me my husband is stupid.
Oh my gosh, I didn't say he was stupid. I was just using that as an example. Please forgive me, Lynn. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. It sounded like a personal attack.
Are you saying that you are not, your intention was not to hurt my feelings, and that you're saying that he's not stupid?
No, he's not stupid, Lynn, and you're very smart to have married you. I said, it's like the best thing in the world. Oh God, I'm on your side. Please don't beat me up.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, we never get distracted from the topic.
No. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, that would be one of those things. Like he has to, like there's things you can't do for him. You can't prepare him to do a job interview.
Well, we could role play.
But like he has to still be willing to go out.
He has to do it
and like look for the jobs.
Yeah.
And go to the interviews.
I even help
and
him
prepare
look for
himself.
jobs,
Really?
Yeah.
Annette never helps me look for jobs. Annette, if you're listening to this, you need to help me look for jobs because Lynn does that.
It was me helping him to get the job he has now. So
really,
yeah.
You're so supportive.
Yeah, or like survival mode. Because if he doesn't have a job, then I have to work twice as much.
So you think about yourself.
Yeah.
Women are so
because marriage is about thinking about yourself.
Oh,
no,
exactly.
you have to think about you as a unit. Like, okay, you are only as strong as the weakest part, weakest link.
Okay.
And if this happens to be your husband, you gotta help him. Because otherwise, you won't get anywhere either.
I mean, it must be so hard being just so wonderful at everything.
Oh, yeah. I have to humble myself so my head won't explode. No, you know all my, not all, but you know most of my shortcomings. So that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. we know your weaknesses. And that's why we all run. Hide. Please lock the village. Close the gates. Lynn's coming. No, but that's and that would be like those things where that's just like one example of where you can't take responsibility. You hope he goes out and gets a job, but you can't make him get one, which would be really like irresponsible if he didn't try to get a job or anything. But there's other things also like
a different issue.
Exactly. But there's other things like behavioral things too. Like when I moved to Sweden, I felt like not everyone, but a lot of people chew with their mouth open at the table. Yeah, a lot of food's just falling all out.
But you were in.
I was up in the north.
Yeah, I was thinking like I have my husband's brother-in-law. He does that too, and he's from rather than north. Because people I meet here, they don't do that.
No, not down here.
Like the city people, they have class. But country people, well.
I didn't say this to all of our viewers out there who are in the countryside. We love you. This is Lynn. So we're only 50% to blame.
We have a good cop, bad cop.
Exactly. Don't worry, we'll change next week. It'll be my turn.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, so that was one of those things like saying like, okay, like when we're sitting at the table, it's really important to thank God for the food. And even though Annette had never grown up with that, she said, okay, well, if it's, okay, this is important. But the thing I found out is that when I'm not home, they don't do it. And that really bothered me because I'm like, I thought we established this as a rule for our family. She's like, no.
That's your thing.
Yeah, exactly. We established that when you're home, this is the rule for the family. And when you're not home, we have other rules. I'm like, oh, okay.
Wow. This is sad. So sad. But
yeah.
Was that an expectation thing, though? Because did you talk about that before? Because now it sounds like it was an expectation.
Yeah, it was an expectation from my part, not from her part. No, because I thought that we had communicated that really clearly and that we really understood that and we were on the same page. And it turned out that it wasn't. And then at some point I had to decide that either I can make this a big issue or I have to accept that this is one of those things where I can't take responsibility for her prayer life or lack of prayer life as long as I'm not influencing it. Like if I'm influencing her prayer life so that she can't pray, then that's an issue. But if she has the opportunity to do that on her own and she doesn't do it, then I kind of have to accept that, okay.
It's her choice.
Because I don't really want her doing religious things that are fake just because she's married to me. So, yeah.
Oh, so sad.
I know.
Are you feeling sad? Is this what you're saying?
I just don't feel validated. I feel like if she would just give in and pretend to be religious.
No, people don't. Don't pretend things like this.
I'm just kidding.
Bad advice.
I'm just kidding.
Bad advice.
Exactly. It's like, this is how to make sure your marriage does not survive. Fake it till you make it.
Okay, guys. I think we will have another episode on things like this.
Yes.
Continue to write in. Tell us, like, if you meet us in real life or just write us an email.
If you meet us in real life.
No, people don't run from me.
No, not from you. People sit down. We were walking on the street and people actually sit down on the ground. Lynn, talk to us. Impart wisdom to our life.
Sounds like Jesus. No, I'm not comparing myself to Jesus. It was just a joke, okay?
The Messiah complex comes out.
Yeah. So thank you guys for listening.
Thank you, everyone. Keep writing to us. And we really, really are so glad and thankful for everyone following us on this journey.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening. If you have any comments or ideas, please send us a message to fikaforlife@mail.com. Fika, F-I-K-A. This was the Fika for Life podcast with Linh and Edward Thomas, and we hope to hear you again.